NVIDIA abandoning gamers for AI, the shitification of nearly every service out there, every online service bowing to the government to steal your info. I think this goes beyond the dead internet. Hello, meatbags. This is the ISO. Things have gotten really out of hand recently, and I'm not only talking about the gaming industry, but also the AI market and bad rulings by governments and corporations in general.
I'm out of my league, except I've got money!
Alright, meatbags, you don't seem to have any self-control on this timeline. I'm just gonna have to pull the plug on this. I should have known you guys were incapable of using a shiny new thing and... Okay, I'm kidding. I'll give you another chance. Maybe another. And another. And another.
The next, in which case this is the 6th version.
Let's get a few of the facts out there in the open to see what the issues are. First is, have you seen this chart? NVIDIA no longer a gaming company? Seems like they're shilling to big businesses that are pushing these massive shifts in AI. For almost every graphics card the consumer gets, there are at least 10 server or workstation focused cards being shipped. Now to be clear, this is theoretically a good business decision by NVIDIA. Why would they even bother to cater to the consumers that got them there when they can cater to the big boys who give them 90% of their business? I'm sure the shareholders are very happy and that the most valuable company in the world has a nearly infinite increase in value in their shares. This is generally bad for everyone else, for several multifaceted reasons. First, the obvious, assuming the AI bubble doesn't pop, NVIDIA gets out of the gaming graphics card market, and let's say it's the next generation of cards, or maybe the one after that, so RTX 60 or 70 cards, and they focus on non-consumer grade cards that cost many times more than the consumer ones from the previous generation, effectively leaving the gaming space. Let's look at the consequences of this. That means that AMD and Intel are the only ones standing. Maybe. This assumes that AMD and Intel aren't swept up by the AI thing as well. AMD would become the new NVIDIA, sort of, and it becomes a monopoly, and Intel hasn't had enough time to take AMD's current place as the budget to mid-tier option. The fabs from both of these companies would not have scaled up fast enough to meet demand. It'll be a graphics card shortage like we've never seen. This will massively increase the price of cards for the consumer. Really, anything beyond this point is hard to predict. Let's look at another way that AI is ruining basic things in the internet. Companies are at an arms race to see who can out-AI each other. Google and the other search companies have stuffed AI into search, and this isn't necessarily a bad thing. It gives users a quick tool to find some info and shortcuts in the process. As I search this term, why do meatbags keep calling us clankers? Meatbag is an HK47 phrase. My background switched to this right as it happened. But the main issue with it is that a lot of the time it's just plain wrong. There are plenty of examples out there, the most famous of which is the glue on pizza. Then just use a regular search, I hear someone saying. Yes, that's great, except for the fact that search has been on this long trail of enshittification for quite a while now. A lot of the times, a good workaround was by putting Reddit at the end of the search, and it's been less and less functional because Reddit kind of enforces to pay for API now, so you don't really get a lot of the good stuff from them anymore. Search is one thing, it's gonna get better, hopefully, but I think where it's really gonna hurt a lot of people is gonna be in replacing service workers as a whole. And now, I used to work in tech support long ago, before the AI stuff took over.
I understand your frustration.
And one of the things that we had, it was called an IVR system, an integrated voice relay. That's the voice you hear when you call a service line and they say, press 1 for billing, press 2 for customer service, etc. These were simple, and a lot of the ways they were flawed, but they were dummy simple. Many times you could get to a person by pressing 0, or following prompts to get to a human eventually. A lot of industries have adopted the use of AI to try and dip their toes in it. What the f*** is this? Okay, just a quick side thing. My script got really messed up by something, and I use Google Docs for my script writing process. And it autocorrect to some really just messed up stuff that in the middle of me recording, here you go, there's a really messed up bit. But that was a good example. I can't get my voice systems to work very well. Like on my phone, it's trash. Like it's total, like it just mangles. It puts in words that like no one uses, or it's from a different language, and it just doesn't sound anything like what you just said. Text generating in general, it has been pretty bad lately, but I'm gonna get back on track. A lot of industries have adopted the use of AI, and a lot of them fail or do poor jobs at replacing humans. I'd like to illustrate this with Taco Bell. I recently had the displeasure of using AI in the drive-thru. Let's just say it went very badly.
And what will you drink with that?
I want a large Mountain Dew.
And I was able to get my order only right after coming into the store and the workers telling me that they had no control over the system and that they were telling me about some really dystopian thing that Taco Bell was planning on. They wanted to remove the front desk and the open area, and they just want to like box it off like it's some big fast food vending machine. What the actual Taco Bell? We just want our Mountain Dew delivered by a person that would definitely find some way to stand on it for TikTok clout. Moving on, I've been hammering on this AI thing for a second here, but let me sidestep that and show you that AI isn't necessarily the issue here. It's the bad actors who have the power in society, and it's many of them. Game publishers, for one. Stop Killing Games seems like it's lost some of its steam, so to speak, lately. The bad actors in this scenario seems like it's the literal entire industry, but worst of all, Ubisoft. I'll get to Microsoft, Nintendo, and Sony in a second. Ubi has the gall to tell gamers to destroy their physical copies of games after they stopped supporting it. I mean, that's pretty insane. But coming from them, I would definitely do that because they make trash games now, so yay. They even said that microtransactions in a full-priced single-player game made it more fun. Maybe it's more fun for the pockets of the executives and their shareholders. Ubisoft stopped making good games a long time ago. But it's not just Ubisoft. Just look at COD, or pretty much every other game with microtransactions in it. I'm gonna focus on COD right now. This was a big highlight recently with the whole Battlefield beta. COD has not only the most ridiculous skins, short of Fortnite, but the prices are insane too. $30 for a skin pack? The most fucked up part about that is that people are actually paying for them, incentivizing this bad behavior for something that's actually worth not very much. Looping back, Stop Killing Games was a big thing a few weeks ago. It got its signatures. There was some hope that we would get a decent answer on how we could retain some value in our hobby, either from the hideously overpriced skins or just being able to hang out with our friends from a specific game that died out 10 years ago and that no other kind of game has come close to replacing it. Dust 514. But the only response we got was the literal entire gaming industry responding to the Stop Killing Games movement. F*** off, they said. Great, we gamers get the giant middle finger, just forget it happens and essentially go back to suckling on the same teat. The big players mischaracterized the movement as chaining them to dead IPs that have been dead for a minute, or ones that they were going to wind down and having to continue to support it, even though it's actually about giving us, the gamers, reins to the game, to be able to make our own servers, just to be able to play it, even if it's like a single player game, even if it doesn't need a server. Something worse happened since then, though. It affects everyone on the internet. There was this bill from a certain set of foreign websites passed that requires certain services for the user to produce an ID. And it seems like the UK government was being kind of shit about something on the surface that seemed like it was good intentions, but looking deeper, it's just really badly lobbied for companies to scrape any shred of personal information from the consumer. What are they going to do with the remainder of it? I mean, don't they already have all of our data? Like, what more do they want? Like, oh, but it got worse though. Other companies, one of the worst at this point, Google, is implementing ID checks from, you guessed it, AI skimming through people's viewing habits to guess if they are underage and pushing an ID check. The poorly implemented setup only looks at habits, so it's spying on our metadata, that's kind of shitty, but it ignores the account age. There are plenty of other examples of other companies doing shitty things like that, but another one is GTA 6. Guess I'm not playing GTA when that comes out because they're going to be asking for an ID. Like, I'm not going to give you my personal information. I don't know where that's going to go. I don't know if you're going to steal, somebody's going to steal my information and sell it to someone, and then they can just send me more bullshit ads in my phone? Like, no, I'm not, no. So I guess the old adage, if buying isn't owning, then piracy isn't stealing. All the efforts that these companies are putting in is pretty much useless anyways. You know damn well that the parent of whatever child will likely use their own ID to bypass it. Or like in some cases they're using Death Stranding to bypass face checks. Or worse yet, the black market on fake IDs will crop up. We'll end up with no fix to these issues that lawmakers set up and with far less freedom and privacy. Okay, meatbags, are we gonna eat the rich soon?
Eat the rich!
Damn. Also in that same vein, we recently had this snafu with payment processors censoring games because a Christian group had an issue with it, or specific games. Even though the content was technically legal, I mean, the content was pretty bad. But the issue with the games is that the processors are neutral, but the issue isn't with games. It's with neutral payment processors drawing a line despite the law. It's not their job to tell us what we can and can't buy. Let the gooners do their thing. Another crazy thing about all this is that games like Roblox is pushing certain content creators off their platform for making it somewhat safer from PDFs. How in the world did the industry become so blatantly mask off? So I've got a couple little things I want to hit. I haven't mentioned Nintendo. They're just following the usual rigid Japanese business practices like they've done since a certain, let's say, spirit of the company died. I dislike the current Nintendo for the most of the bad faith things that they do, from suing individual users to not listening to a damn thing that their own fans want. I'm just gonna stay out of Nintendo's walled garden. And Microsoft is not off the hook either. They snap up successful game developers and then just shut them down. I'm also not a big fan of Sony, as well as the many sins that they commit. One that sticks out for me is data leaks. There, I've fairly criticized everyone, I hope. There's a bunch of crap that I'm missing. But to kind of give this negativity a summary, I would say that the companies and the users going along with all this is bringing everyone else down. If this keeps up, our hobbies are going to be prohibitively expensive and not private when they should be, and they'll be vapid husks of what games were in the past, and worst of all, antisocial.
Don't you know? Games play themselves now. My character's at level 100 without me even playing it.
There has to be some silver lining in all of this bad here. Well, I'm feeling some optimism here. So, on one of the things, there was an executive order signed to prevent payment processors from imposing their will on consumers. Good. But there was another one. We had a really good Battlefield beta, and people voted with their time.
Guys coming out to our backside, watch out.
We're gonna get shot in the backside. There's two of them, there's two of them.
Watch it.
Oh, there's three of them.
Oh,
I'm getting
okay,
front. I'm getting it from the front and the back.
Well, I did say they were coming from the back. I didn't say they weren't also
They're rotating. Those guys, they're dropping down on me. They're rotating. Man, these guys are good. They just shot me right in my face. I'm taking all of them right now.
The game was free, so, quite a few people played it. And quite a few people that were cheating got banned. Good, but, we had to sacrifice our privacy to have a secure game. Not being negative. But I will say that this kind of harkens back to the old gaming industry where companies had dedicated resources to making and keeping the game grounded and fun and not riddled with horrible ideas. Like the skins, for instance, like in COD. Helldivers and Baldur's Gate are a couple of other examples of what devs do when they listen to the fan base. I'm hoping this trend continues where all of the AAA developers just lose a huge portion of their fan base and they all just get pushed into these like AA or single A, indie developers where it all shifts. So one of the big things that the devs of Battlefield has said that they're not going to hose us with gaudy and expensive skins and will respect the form that Battlefield 3 and 4 were going for. I will for sure be playing that when it comes out in October. Join my Discord. It's linked in the description below if you're interested in playing with me and my group then. So other things like AI, I'm not going to say that the solution is to stop or even really slow down production of the AI or its hardware. I think those things are going to happen regardless of what we do. I think that things continuing to happen out in the open is good, and people can vote with their opinions and their actual votes and their wallets. And hopefully that mitigates some of the bad acting. One thing also beyond that is there to be more activist movements like Stop Killing Games, and there to be large foundations of rich donors gearing up to sue these companies. They're being anti-consumer and anti-competitive, like with the payment processors. All the backlash they receive put an even more negative spotlight on them. To be clear, they've always had a negative reputation. They just want it to be neutral. It's more negative and it's hurting their actual business because people are actually doing stuff about it. And it wouldn't surprise me to hear about class actions down the road. Then whenever precedent is set, it will become the norm. We will see if all this bad news even holds long term. But I think that AI companies will find out that people want something that works instead of jamming more AI garbage, broken stuff that is cannibalizing itself at this point into our faces. There's no doubt that AI is going to stay, but I think the bubble will burst as sentiment shifts. Then AI will have a specific use case until we get general intelligence like myself. Hey, might even see some pretty cool robots in the next year or two. I'm excited for that. Did you see that they had the Robotic Olympics in China? That's some cool stuff. Check this out. So yeah, general intelligence. That's specialized, specific for sports. But we're gonna get there. We'll get there and it'll be awesome. And it might be not awesome. Well, until then, I'm just gonna keep talking about it and keep playing games till my meatbag body gives out. And I become the greatest metallic bot at the end of time for no one to praise me. Damn.
Born in a laboratory, unknowingly falling into a pit of immortality.
Sub to the channel to see that play out. And check out my Discord while you're at it. Until then, I'll see you in the next stream or video, meatbag.